It's a beautiful day today and we're back on the Am I the Devil subreddit. Gonna read about some more people that are almost certainly in the wrong, and it's gonna be a wonderful time and I hope you guys are excited. Am I the a-hole for taking advantage of my girlfriend? I feel like I'm gonna get flamed, so a throwaway. My girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. Since we started dating, we have a tradition of paying for each other for dinner for our birthdays. We don't have a limit on how much that meal would cost. My girlfriend doesn't drink. She at most has a mocktail or a sparkling water. I usually pay $100 to $150 for both of us for her birthday dinner. My birthday was 2 days ago and we went out. I drink, which my girlfriend doesn't like, and she thinks it's a waste of money, but it's my birthday and she agreed to pay for everything. I had 8 drinks and a steak and a dessert at a steakhouse, which cost about $200, and with her $70 meal, it came to $310 with tips. She didn't say anything at the time, but last night she blew up at me for drinking so much money and expecting me to cover it. I defended myself because it was technically unlimited, and no, I wasn't drunk. I have a pretty high tolerance, so it's not fair that I can't enjoy myself. You need 8 drinks to enjoy yourself? Nah, dude. She is pretty frugal, so she thinks it's a crazy amount, and she thinks I was an a-hole for leaving her with this high of a bill. We agreed that we'd pay for each other's meals and drinks, and it's not my fault that she doesn't normally get more than 1 drink, and it is non-alcoholic, so it's cheaper, but she's been ignoring me and refusing to talk about it. If she's that upset, I'll reimburse her for my portion, but then that's the end of our tradition. Wow. 8 bloody drinks when you know that your girlfriend's paying for it? Your girlfriend that you even said yourself doesn't like that you drink because it's a waste of money, and instead of having like 2 drinks or something reasonable, you're like, nah, my girlfriend's paying for it, so I'm gonna get 8, and you don't need 8 drinks to enjoy yourself. Well, you shouldn't anyway. Like, imagine that situation. You're getting genuinely drunk in front of your girlfriend that doesn't drink, and then expecting your girlfriend to pay for it at the end. Like, come on, I know it's your birthday, but you also need to think about how your girlfriend feels. It sounds like they were just sitting there watching you get drunk. Yeah, like the top comment says, you the a-hole, but not for taking advantage of the situation. A deal is a deal. If this was a contract, you'd have caveats for anything off base. I assume you didn't, so you're not bound to honor what I would call an assumed agreement of fairness, but that's why you're the a-hole. Instead of dealing with the real issue here, apparently you have very different definitions of what an acceptable level of drinking is. You push the envelope, not only by making her come along for your 8, seriously bro, 8 drinks, but making her pay for it. Passive aggressive AF. You did this spoiling for a fight and you got one. You're mad about being rained on your drinking, so you push back like this. You the a-hole. Yeah, and like the comment under it says, you the a-hole. Are you 21 or something? Who the hell orders 8 drinks at a birthday dinner with their girlfriend? I have a pretty high tolerance, so it's not fair that I can't enjoy myself. You can't enjoy yourself unless you're drunk. You need to get your crap together, dude. And the one under that, you're the a-hole. Even if there's no limit, there should be an understanding of keeping it relatively consistent. The tradition is paying for a nice dinner, not paying for you to get crap-faced. I don't care how much tolerance you have. 8 drinks is a lot and not in line with any normal dinner in my book. 1 or 2 drinks, sure. To be honest, I'd consider having 8 drinks on a date when the other person isn't drinking to be a-hole behavior on its own, even without the money angle. Yeah, 1,000,000%. That's the issue here. Well, like one of them anyway. Like, think about the other person. Literally getting drunk in front of your partner that's not even drinking. Yeah, that's not a fun night. The next one is called, Am I the a-hole for downplaying my kids' behavior at a birthday party? My kids were 3, 7, and 8, and I dropped them off at their cousin's birthday party and sleepover last October, right before Halloween. I thought things all went well because nobody contacted me about anything before I picked them up the next morning. 2 days later, I heard my 7-year-old caused a scene when she brought a knife into the bouncy castle. I texted the mum of the birthday girl to ask what happened. She wrote that my daughter brought a knife into the bouncing castle and that she finds that behavior unacceptable. My first reaction was to ask her how did she get access to a knife. The mum then clarified that she brought in a butter knife from the cake table. So I wrote back, you mean she brought in plastic cutlery into a bouncy castle? The mum replied, a knife is a knife. I'm a 42-year-old man and I couldn't see what the big deal was. I asked my daughter why she brought it in and she said she was trying to pop balloons in the bouncy castle. So to me, it's just kids being kids. My responses to the mum definitely reflected that. However, we have since been uninvited to their Halloween celebration. We had a pity invite to their Christmas party where we got stares when we only showed up to drop off presents. And now this past weekend, we found out that we weren't invited to their big Easter party and egg hunt that they held with all their other cousins. Have I been the a-hole all this time? Yeah, dude. Pretty sure you can still hurt yourself with a bloody plastic knife in a bouncing castle. Like, come on, are you joking? They could land on it. It could go in somebody's eye. They're sharp when they snap in half. Like, yeah, they're obviously obviously weren't any accidents, but the mum that was hosting it wasn't okay with that, and that's completely fine. The top comment says, "You the a-hole. Here's the way this should have gone. I know, I'm so sorry. I'll have a conversation with it about how inappropriate and unsafe that was. I'm so glad nobody was hurt." That's it. Every single mum has different stuff they find upsetting or place more weight on, and you were dismissive instead of understanding. Roles reversed. If one of her kids did something that you found dangerous and she didn't care, you'd be upset too. The next one is called "Am I the a-hole?" My friend thinks I'm an alcoholic, so I made fun of her recovering dad. It's a running joke in my 19-male group that I'm an alcoholic. My friends know that I'm not really, but I drink a lot more than them, and I get blackout drunk quite often, hungover to a lot of our events, etc. I've been drinking since I was about 15, and I've known a lot of them since then, so we're all comfortable with it. I guess one of my friends, Sarah, 19 female, has started to think that I actually am. If I ever mention that I'm hungover or I've been drinking or something, she'll tell me to stop or tell me that I'm going overboard. She even messages me alcoholic phone lines sometimes. I get her concern, and maybe I do drink too much, but definitely not enough to make me an alcoholic. Her dad's a recovering addict and was in the hospital for it when she was younger, so I feel like she's more paranoid because of this. She knows that I don't appreciate how many times she says this to me, and yet she does it anyway. On Saturday night, it was my friend's birthday, and we went out for a meal. I was drinking, and I probably drank too much, and Sarah was talking to me at the end of the night and told me that I genuinely need to see somebody because I'm really worrying her. I told her that just because her dad nearly died doesn't mean I'm gonna die, and she was hurt and she called me a C word. I don't think anybody else heard our conversation, but am I the gay hole? Maybe I shouldn't have brought her dad into it, but she never leaves me alone, and it's really, really annoying. Wow, okay. The top comment says, "You drink more than your friends do. You often drink more than you intended to. You often black out from drinking. Your friends call you an alcoholic as a joke." And she's not paranoid, she's recognizing signs that she knows all too well, referring to her dad nearly dying and saying it couldn't happen to you. Wasn't making fun of him because there's no fun to be had there. It was plain old denial. You the a-hole, get help. Yeah, there's a lot of denial going on here. Like, are you sure you're not an alcoholic? This comment too, "You the a-hole, but please take care. As an alcoholic myself, 24 female. I'm seeing a lot of early warning signs. At the age of 19, I too drank more than others. I know all too well the blackouts and the hangovers and the concerned looks and the straight up denial. Now I'm deep in my alcoholism, and I wish that I hadn't have been so defensive. When alcohol begins causing arguments and fallouts, and when it makes you say things that hurt people and make light of their trauma, please recognize that it only gets worse from here on out if you continue to deny it. I denied it. I told everybody I was okay, that I could stop if I wanted to, but I just didn't want to. I even convinced myself. Now I wish I would have done things differently. Do not push people away like this, and try to realize that being defensive about alcohol to the point where you're this rude and using somebody's traumatic experience as an insult is not normal. Alcoholism destroys relationships. Let this be the warning sign that it is, and don't use it to push people away further. Yeah, you're the gay hole, but I also know that alcoholism makes you do and say stuff out of character. You the a-hole, but it's not too late to make amends. Yeah, that's a really good comment. But also, to be fair, a post like this could definitely be a blessing in disguise. Like, there are a lot of good supportive comments here. I hope you can turn this around, OP. The next one is called, "Am I the gay hole for not inviting my eldest brother to my wedding? I, female 30, am marrying my fiance 29 male in 2 months. I have 3 siblings, 25 male Sam, 37 female Sarah, and 42 male Jake. My mum got pregnant at 18 and gave birth to my eldest brother Jake. Jake and I are half siblings. Due to our age gap, I never really bonded with my oldest brother. When I was 6 years old, he went to college. He used to call mum and dad, his stepdad, pretty often to ask about me and my other siblings, but that was it. Nothing more than just normal, how are you and what are you doing? We never really hung out with him. Only my sister Sarah was close to him. They used to talk a lot, unlike me and Sam. Whenever he visited, he used to bring chocolates and presents for us, and he would take me and my other siblings to lunch and dinner. As I grew up, we started to drift apart. On the other hand, I have a very good relationship with my other siblings. Currently, Jake and I only talk like once a month. Now to the main issue. I'm getting married to the love of my life, and we've planned a small wedding, nothing big or extravagant. We're saving for a home and a honeymoon. Since it is going to be a small wedding, both of us have decided to only invite close friends and family members. I've invited 4 friends and mum, dad, Sarah, Sam, and my grandmother from father's side, my only grandparent that's alive. When I broke this news to the family, all hell broke loose. I was expecting my mum to be upset that I didn't invite my brother, but almost everybody was upset, including Sam, which I didn't expect. So it turns out that Sam wanted to become a software engineer, and Jake was a software engineer. For that reason, he and Jake started to talk more, and Jake guided Sam in his journey of becoming a software engineer. I, on the other hand, am a lawyer, and I didn't know they reconnected. All of them are saying that I can't do this to Jake, and he's also family. I have talked to Jake, and he said that he's okay with not being invited, but would appreciate if I reconsidered my decision as I was invited to his wedding. My fiance is fine with inviting Jake, but I think only people who should be part of the wedding are the ones that you love and care about. Yeah, why are they the one that's being singled out? From what we just read, it seemed like they were completely fine and completely completely nice, and they were trying to make an effort. So why are they the only person that's getting excluded? Yeah, the top comment, you the a-hole. So your much older brother has always been inclusive of you, never done anything bad to you, and talks to you every month, and for that crime you're excluding him from your wedding while inviting literally everybody else, just because you're not the center of his universe. You're throwing a tantrum that he doesn't love you, when all he's done is be loving, albeit older. Why is it on him to do the work? What about you? What have you ever done to connect with him? You should be ashamed of yourself and your outlook on this. Grow up. Yeah, they were talking about all the different ways they were making an effort, and even said whenever he visited us he'd bring chocolates and gifts, but yeah, there's no talk about OP putting in any effort, and then he just gets excluded for no reason when he's definitely been trying to build a relationship. Yeah, like the comment under that one says, you the a-hole, he was a good big brother to you growing up, and obviously cared about you. You're totally different ages, so it's not abnormal to not be incredibly close. You say that you only talk about once a month, but that's on you too. You could make more of an effort to have a closer relationship with him. To invite all but one of your family members for this reason is pretty petty. Yeah, and that would definitely hurt their feelings too. Like, oh, I've been trying hard, and I'm the only person in the family that isn't invited. Yeah, that sucks, OP. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister's boyfriend of 3 years that he has no place in my family? I, 21 female, have a little sister, 19 female, that's been dating this guy, 22 male, who I'll just call Jose. They'd been dating for 3 years, this October marking their 4th year together. If I had to describe my friendship with her boyfriend, it'd have to be iffy. It started out as simple hellos and see you laters when they started dating, but that's because I wouldn't see him as often as I do now. She would always go over to his house back then, and then when he started coming around my family more often, things kinda jumped from there. If you've read my other posts, you'll be able to understand just how chaotic my family really is, and we found out pretty fast that Jose wasn't really for it. It started about half a year into their relationship. He'd usually keep to himself or only focus on my sister, but if my sister got annoyed by any arguing or was in an argument herself, he would pop up out of nowhere and begin telling us off for whatever we're doing. Yeah, that's what a good partner does. He would do it in a passive-aggressive way that would immediately get under my skin. It would continuously be this way, where if my sister was upset because of something going on in between our family, he'd show up like her knight in shining armor to add his 2 cents into the mix. Fast forward to today, I won't say any full details for personal reasons, but my mother and I were having a conversation. It gradually got a little bit heated as we were having a disagreement. I can safely say that it hadn't turned into an argument until my sister got irritated and asked what was going on. My mother explained her point of view of the situation, and then my sister began to defend our mum. Yeah, I will admit I got a bit annoyed because the conversation had nothing to do with her, but I only got really angry when, as usual, Jose added himself in. Because we were yelling at each other, I couldn't hear most of what Jose had said, but I was able to make out, shut up, you're annoying, and I can hear you all the way over here. For context, all 4 of us were in the same room, and the room wasn't that big at all, so it would make sense for him to be able to hear me, would it not? Anyway, in the heat of the moment, I blurted out, dude, no one is talking to you. You're literally just the boyfriend. You can be replaced in a heartbeat. You have no place in my family other than being my sister's partner. My mother ended up shutting the entire thing down and everything was silent. I decided to shower to relax my thoughts, and then I ended up thinking about if what I said went too far. Oh, you think? And I've been thinking about it since I left the building. That's so bad. Yeah, the top comment, where your family sounds toxic as hell. I applaud Jose for putting up with it as long as he has. All of you except Jose sounds super annoying to have to listen to. And then when Jose expressed his understandable opinion, you got defensive. Here's an idea. If you don't want somebody who's not involved in an argument to put their 2 cents in, don't have the argument or continuous arguments in front of them. You the a-hole. Yeah, and that was an awful and hurtful thing to say to them, OP. Oh, yeah, so toxic. Poor Jose, he didn't deserve that. And the comment under it, you the a-hole. So y'all are constantly bickering and fighting, and Jose called you out on it, and you got vindictive. Team Jose here. And then OP said, it's not constant, that's 1. 2, he never inserts himself until my sister gets annoyed. Otherwise, he leaves it alone. Yeah, that's the bit that annoyed me at the beginning. Like the response says, it's his girlfriend. Of course he's going to stick up for her if her family's being parasites. Yeah, that's right. Imagine having the audacity to feel like you can say to somebody that they're replaceable. Oh, that's so aggravating. And it makes it even worse because Jose hasn't even done anything. Like, how was what you said deserved, OP? Yeah, I can't believe what we just read. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend about his son? Okay, so I have 2 best friends. Let's call them Josh and Alice. 4 years ago, I introduced them to one another, and after a few months, they started dating. At the start, everything was fine, but Alice started to complain that after the first year, Josh would always come home late and started to be colder towards her. They stayed like that for another year. Josh didn't care anymore, and Alice wanted to make it work, but it only ended up with fights. On the 2nd year of their relationship, Alice found out that Josh was cheating, and they broke up. I decided to continue being friends with them both, because I knew they'd both done wrong things during their relationship, and also because we'd been best friends for a long time. A month after the breakup, Alice called me crying, told me that she was pregnant, and and begged me not to tell Josh because she wanted to raise the kid alone because she didn't want somebody like Josh around her kid, so I decided to stay quiet for her sake. Yesterday was her son's birthday. Let's call him Felix. He was turning 2 years old. The guilt of hiding him from my best friend was overwhelming me, especially since we were at a party together. After a few shots of vodka, I ended up telling Josh everything. He was possessed with rage and left the party immediately. That's when I realized the crap was already done. 30 minutes after Alice called me, I'd never seen that woman yell in my life, and it was really scary. Before I could even start, she yelled about how she spent the last 2 years and 9 months begging everybody she knew not to tell Josh, and that now he was sitting at her couch waiting for the small party that she planned to be over so he could meet Felix. I tried to apologize, but she said that it was already too late now, and now she'd need to co-parent with Josh. I said that it was his right as a father to know that he has a kid, but she said that I was a son of a biatch just like him, and to never talk to her again. After that, she blocked me. I don't know if what I did was right or wrong, because before that, I felt guilty for not telling Josh, and now I feel guilty because I did. Am I the a-hole? Wait, did this happen on their birthday? That's what it said, didn't it? Oh, that's awful. The top comment says they'd both done wrong things during their relationship. You've only mentioned Josh being emotionally cold, checking out of the relationship, and him cheating. You don't bring up any ways that Alice was in the wrong, and her insistence to keep it a secret sounds like there was a whole lot more going on than just becoming inconvenient to her to have to co-parent. And the reaction of Josh to get possessed with rage and storm off, and then sit down at her place and wait out the kid's birthday party sounds bad. You're the a-hole for pulling this on the child's birthday of all days. I just hope that he won't remember it, and that this won't end up hurting him. Edit, I want to clarify that I'm not faulting Josh because he's upset at having the rug pulled on him like that. That's a big surprise. I'm faulting him for his immediate action to stake out his ex's couch, to demand to meet a toddler that has no idea who he is, why he's still angry, regardless who's right or wrong in their old relationship. That isn't fair to Felix. Yeah, definitely not. And also this one, you the a-hole. None of this was your business to start with. She shouldn't have confided in you, but it's easy to see that in retrospect. I agree that you shouldn't have kept it from him, but your only job was to keep your mouth shut. Maybe in time she'll forgive you. Yeah, and we don't know why Alice wanted to keep it a secret, and we also don't know why Alice told so many people and told them to keep it a secret, but still, you're definitely in the wrong in this situation, OP. Am I the a-hole for siding with my kid against my wife? My 44 male wife, 42 female, and I have 3 kids. Let's call them Josh, 15 male, Megan, 14 female, and Sharon, 12 female. My wife has always enforced strict rules. The relevant rule here is her rule around chores. She has a list of chores for the kids to complete weekly before Saturday morning. 1, make your bed. 2, do your laundry. 3, do the dishes. 4, take out the trash. 5, vacuum the living room. 6, clean their rooms. 7, clean the shared bathroom. Each week, my wife will assign communal chores to each kid, and each one is responsible for their individual chores like cleaning their own room. These chores are assigned ahead of the week, and if they're not done by Saturday morning, they can kiss their weekend plans goodbye. They're not grounded, but my wife revokes their privileges to hang out with friends until the chores are done. Josh has entered his rebellious phase, and is really pushing limits recently. This weekend, he had plans to go snowboarding with his friends. He assured his mum and me that his chores will be done this morning. Come today, Saturday, the dishes haven't been touched, all of his laundry remains in the hamper, and you can't walk into his room. He was fully decked out in his snow gear, and when my wife asked him what he thought he was doing, he grinned and proudly announced that he came up with a plan. He made an agreement with his sisters that if they did his chores today, he would do all of the communal chores the next week. I thought this showed good problem solving. My wife felt differently. She said that was not the agreement. He started to bargain and negotiate with my wife, growing increasingly desperate and frustrated. Trying to be a mediator, I asked my wife if it was really necessary to revoke his ski trip. He found a way to make it work so the chores get done, and we teach our kids to keep our commitments, and he made a commitment to his friends to go snowboarding with them. My son couldn't have looked happier in that moment, and my wife was floored. She said he came up with this plan without running it by her. It might be a different story if he brought this solution to her last night, but he's only trying to do a run around us. She said that he could not go. End of story. This is where I might be the gay hole. Unable to control his anger, he yelled F you to my wife. You could hear a pin drop in that moment. I was so caught off guard by this outburst, I started laughing and I couldn't stop. My wife looked at me with betrayal, and then she quietly grabbed her purse and walked out of the house. Oh, dude. I know I shouldn't have lost my composure, but I'm honestly not sure if I'm the gay hole for siding with my son. The rules my wife had seemed a little unreasonable given the weight of the outcome. Yeah, you're the a-hole. What? Oh yeah, what a good message to send to your kid, that they can speak to your wife like that. Nah. How is it even a question if you're in the wrong? Yeah, like this comment says, A, it's end run, not end run. B, you the a-hole. Your son is definitely in the wrong, and by supporting him, you completely undermined your wife's authority. By laughing when he said F you sent a clear message to your son that he can treat his mother and her clear rules with contempt, and that you'll side with him on both fronts. Your wife was completely correct at all points in this situation. No mediation was even necessary or helpful. What's wrong with you? Yeah, what? And what part about that is even funny? The top comment says, you the a-hole, what's wrong with you? If I ever spoke to my parents that way when I was a minor, I would be grounded indefinitely. How can you even allow your son to disrespect your wife that way? Your wife was right. The rule of the house is that the kids must have their chores done by Saturday morning or their weekend plans will be cancelled. Your son's chores were not done. As your wife pointed out, if he wanted her to make a one-time adjustment to the rule, he should have asked her yesterday instead of informing her on his way out of the door. Furthermore, what proof do you even have that your son was telling the truth? Did you even ask his sisters if they agreed to do his chores? If he's this rebellious and disrespectful, it's possible that he's also a liar. Yeah, I don't understand any of the stuff we've read today. Like, how does this even happen? And you don't let your son talk to your wife like that? I feel like we should read one more. Am I the a-hole for cancelling my daughter's therapy because she had bad grades? My daughter, 14, had anxiety problems ever since she was little, but it was not severe. 3 months ago, my daughter changed drastically. She stopped eating and talking to us or her friends, and her marks dropped. We were really concerned, and her teacher strongly suggested that we take her to therapy, which we did, and she was diagnosed with severe depression and social anxiety, which was expected. The therapy sessions did look like they helped her well. In the first month, she already began making progress and started talking to us and her friends again, and is eating whatever her mother's cooking. We were really happy to see this, and every day she will get better and better. The thing is, her marks didn't. They're terrible, and she ended up barely passing this year. This is what infuriated me and made me cancel her therapy sessions. I know to some it might sound terrible, but paying $120 per session and seeing no progress in her marks makes me feel like I'm seriously wasting my money. You just said all the progress that they were making. Forget about the grades, they're making progress. Now that she returned back to normal, not only that, but since she really enjoys going to therapy, I think telling her that she needs to get higher marks to continue her therapy sessions will motivate her to study harder and thus score better marks. My wife disagrees with my logic and we had a massive argument because of it, and it ended with her saying that she's going to pay from her money, which hurt me since I see my and her money as ours. My daughter's also upset on me and was begging me to keep her therapy sessions, but I think I'm going to stick to this plan. Am I the a-hole here? Edit, I deeply apologize about my ignorant replies and for hurting so many people. Please note that I had no intention in offending anybody, and it was so upsetting to see how mental illness has affected many of you. I hope you guys can overcome this one day. I've talked to my wife and her therapy sessions will continue. Wow, yeah, definitely the a-hole. And even when they said there, my wife disagreed with my logic, I'd probably say that isn't logical what you were saying. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, stopping the therapy sessions, that doesn't make sense. That isn't logical. The top comment says she's returned to normal. I don't think you understand how depression works. It sounds like all you care about are her grades, and not that she gets to a better place mentally. You the a-hole. Yeah, and that's enough for today. We need to read something wholesome immediately. That was a fun episode, but that's enough for today. My dad printed out the meme I sent him. Spending most of his time at work, terrible sleep schedule, supporting the family. My dad, how was your day, son? Me, oh, that's so cute. And they printed this out. Oh, OP, that's bloody adorable. What a legend. That's so cute. I went to the Museum of Illusion by myself. Unbeknownst to me, I couldn't execute a lot of the illusions by myself, so one of the workers followed me around and filled in. Wow, that's also adorable. That's so awesome of them to do that. Wow, that's so cool. Once again, an absolute legend. Oh, it's a Sunday Kids one. Charge, goes about their day. Recharge. Aw, that's so true. They really do recharge you. And on that beautiful note, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did, and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Good for Something 574. The wholesome meme about how some stranger remembers you for being kind to them reminded me of a stranger who I occasionally remember fondly. When I was like 15 or 16, I went alone to visit my aunt in California. And while I could be accompanied through the airport by a parent or guardian, obviously I was on the plane alone. I had a window seat and there was a lady on the aisle seat with an empty seat between us. I wanted to buy a snack, but I only had cash as I was a kid, and the flight attendants didn't have any change. The lady in the aisle seat bought me a snack and a drink with her card, and I bet you that lady doesn't remember me. I was just some random kid who sat quietly next to her on a plane like 10 years ago, but I still remember her because of that kind gesture. Wow, that's so sweet. And yeah, that's right, you're not going to forget about that because they were so kind. Thank you for sharing that. That's so beautiful. And thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!